I'm a fervent advocate of Dr. Seuss, and I have this quote, which is actually written on my wall, which says, there is no one alive who is youer than you.
I love it.
Repeat that 10 times, because when I stopped comparing myself to others, when I stopped comparing my work to others, when I stopped trying to emulate what other people were doing and really be me, I really started to grow.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Mastrius for this sneak peek with artist and mentor, Isabelle Gaborit, who will be discussing the art of touch and mastering brush and blowtorch techniques. At Mastrius, you get personal feedback, teaching, advice, and support from a master artist of your choice, so you can reach your goals in your style at your pace. I'm your host, Marcia Korsbelt. And today I'm thrilled to introduce Mastrius mentor, Isabelle Gaborit. Isabelle is a professional visual artist originally from La Rochelle, France, now residing in Ireland. Isabelle's work has been exhibited nationally and internationally, including in the USA, Northern Ireland, Germany, China, and France. Isabelle currently serves as a board member of the International Encaustic Artists, an organization that supports the advancement of wax artists worldwide, offering opportunities and resources within a global community. With over 20 years of experience, Isabelle is an accomplished artist and seasoned mentor. She has led numerous art workshops, both nationally and internationally, and organized projects through the Arts Council. Since 2013, she has specialized in encaustic painting, regularly conducting talks, workshops, and art retreats, including at the International Encaustic Conference in Provincetown, Massachusetts, Mulroney Arts, Flux Studios in Dublin, and Leitrim School of Art in Ireland. Isabelle is also an instructor for the annual online program, Painting with Fire, which brings together 27 world-renowned artists to offer encaustic master classes globally. Additionally, Isabelle is part of the International Encaustic Artist Mentor Program, providing coaching to artists for their professional development. Her nurturing approach empowers mentees to reach their full potential, making her an ideal mentor for those seeking growth in art, community, and personal development. Isabelle has also been invited to join the Mastrius Master community, where she conducts monthly mentoring sessions for emerging artists, focusing on enhancing the artistic voices and professional presence of encaustic artists. I'm really excited to dive in. How are you today, Isabelle?
I'm really good, Masha, really good. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, the floor is yours. So,
enjoying the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when new Mastrius videos are added.
So, encaustic, I will be the first to admit, I don't know a whole lot about encaustic painting, so I'm here to be educated.
Oh, educated. It's just, yeah, I know. Encaustic is one of those niche medium. It's pretty well known in the States, I guess. That's where really you have all the encaustic material places. But yeah, encaustic painting. So how to do that in a nutshell?
Yes.
Okay, in a nutshell. So it's actually a very ancient painting process. Give or take about 2,000 years old, started in Egypt by Greek people that lived at the time in ancient Egypt. They used originally beeswax and damar. There's a little bit of damar. It's called the encaustic medium when we're actually painting with, okay? And there is beeswax in it, and there is a bit of a sap, tree sap called damar resin in it, okay? And they used it on boats originally because it's waterproof. It stays, you know. And then they started to use it for they were painting faces of mummies, you know,
Okay.
basically on a piece of wood, and they were using beeswax, damar, that resin I was telling you about, and natural pigments, and they are called Fayum mummies, and you can find them all over the world in various museums, and they are as vibrant and beautiful as if they were made yesterday. So that's
Wow.
when people ask you, you know, some people contact me via my website, is it gonna melt? Because beeswax, you know, people think it's gonna melt. I'm like, no, no. You go and look at the Fayum mummies. They are beautiful. They are just luminous, translucent, vibrant, and yeah, absolutely beautiful. Now, in the 70s, encaustic painting re-emerged in the States, and it's still a vibrant community of artists all over the world, basically. You know, we meet in various conferences and teach, and you can ask various encaustic painters what attracts them to the medium, and everybody will have a different answer. Okay, and me, I came across encaustic painting about 14 years ago. I was already painting at the time, and I was doing a lot of mixed media, and I was looking for something to embed different papers. My work has always been about layering and memory and digging back. And that's when I literally came across encaustic painting, and I just took it on my stride and just literally, I was working on a show at the time, and half of the painting were done with inks, and I always use with very fluid materials, and the other half of the show was basically encaustic paintings. And people in Ireland were like, what is that? What's going on here? What is it? You know, because they love the actually, I'm going to show you. Actually, I've got one of my work
yes,
I'm
I'd
working
love
on
to see one.
right now. Do you mind? Yeah.
Please.
So yeah, because I can talk about it as much as I want, but you know, it's nice to show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is actually a big piece. So I don't know if you can see
here.
the light. So it's
Oh,
very translucent, very shiny, but also you can work, and that's what we're going to do today. You can also work it, you know, beeswax is solid materials which you work in the liquid form. I'm going to show you my palette and everything, but then when it sets, you can actually sculpt it. You know, you can actually carve into it, you can dig into it, so you have that beautiful translucency, but also you can have that gorgeous opacity that you can carve into. So yeah, that's basically, sorry, the light, the spot. It is very difficult to take an image of an encaustic painting because they are very shiny. So that's basically it. Yeah.
I want to
work
reach out and touch
We
it.
had a dark summer in Ireland.
No, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. So shall I show you around
Yes.
my desk?
Yes, definitely. I'll spotlight
Is that
your
okay?
screen. Yeah.
Okay, so when you are working with encaustic painting, you're working with something called an encaustic medium, and it is in set form. But hold on a second, I'm just going to grab one here. So this is basically what we call an encaustic cake, okay? Now, RNF, I'm very fortunate to have RNF, one of the most well-known encaustic company based in New York, and they sell it in pellet form. And in this, you have the beeswax, pure beeswax, and to this is added the dama resin. Okay? So that is basically what you need for all the work that you do. And you have it here on the palette. One sec, I'm going to move that camera. That's going to be better. In a liquid form. Okay?
Okay.
So what you need, because you're working from something which is solid to something which is liquid, what you need is a hot plate. So here I do have an RNF hot plate. Some people use pancake griddle, things like that.
Okay.
The very important thing about this, though, is that you need to keep it at a very steady and low temperature, okay? So you need, I do have this fancy little kind of laser thing that tells you what's the temperature of your hot plate, but you can't go above 200 Fahrenheit, which is about 98 Celsius, okay? You can't go above that. If you go above that, you would damage your paints, and you also will create fume, which is not good for you. Now, right above my hot plate, I have, if you look at the other camera, I have a ventilation system that runs all over the studio like this, that is right above the hot plate. Oh yeah, you can see the hot plate better actually this way. If you don't, that's actually better. And now, some people don't have that type of ventilation. What they need though, they need, if you don't have a studio, for example, everybody's lucky to have a space. What you need to do, you have to have open the window, open the door, and have a nice airflow, okay? But if you keep that hot plate at that temperature, you won't have any fume, you won't have any problems. I think a lot of people are kind of scared with it because it's heat and things like that. But if you stick to that, stick to very low temperature, it's completely safe. You know, it's completely safe. Okay, so here I have my pot of medium in molten form, and I have also a bristle, natural bristle brush, because if you have something synthetic, it will melt and again contaminate your paint. So you have to make sure that it's completely natural bristle. This one is like an Ake brush. I'm gonna go over the brushes a bit later on because I also use different type of brushes, like cheap brushes, you know, in order to gain texture. I'm gonna move this little guy away. And then I have little pots like this, same thing. This is a 2-inch brush. You can work with whatever size you prefer. Everybody is a bit different, you know? And you can also mix your paint straight on the hot plate, which I'm going to show you.
Oh, you can, okay. And
is that okay so far?
Yes, oh, that's perfect. Now, so for your paints, what type of paint do you use? Is it?
Okay, the paints. So now maybe we can go back into the other camera. I'm going to center it a little bit. That's straight. Okay, so this is my little box of tricks. I tend to separate the colors when I work with them because they're so beautiful. They look like sweets.
Oh, they do.
And you want to use them all. So I always separate my colors. These are the colors I'm working with for the moment. Now, these are the RNF, the company I was telling you about, paint. So here we go. And they come into what we call a cake foam, okay? So in this, you have the medium, you have, which is basically the beeswax and the damar. And to this is added natural pigments. And they are very, very pigmented, okay? Very, very pigmented. So one of those, this is 40 milliliters, one of those will go a long way. And you can have them like 105 and 333 and so on and so forth. Okay. Now I don't want to go too much into details, but here you have a tiny little, I don't know if you can see, opaque, says opaque. Yes. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. Some colors come opaque, other translucent, and other semi-translucent, but I'm not going to get into this today. That's the subject matter for another.
We'll cover that off in your Mastrius sessions.
But yeah, I basically it's that dance between the opacity and the translucency which really attracts me with encaustic painting, because the translucency, the colors which are very translucent, they are gem-like. They look like gems. You know, if you look like gems in the light, you have that beautiful, like an opal. Or not an opal. Oh my God, what's the name of that? Oh my God, it's gone. Anyway, you see the way when you look through, like stained glass.
Yes.
You know that stained glass quality? That's basically the translucent color give this, and it's gorgeous to play with. You know, it's like the light come from inside. But anyway, I'm going to stop now because otherwise we're not going to have the time to do techniques. So yeah, so you need the cakes, but you also need the colored cakes, but you also need a big pot of medium, because these are so pigmented that you need to extend them with the medium. And I'm going to show you as we go along.
Okay. Excellent.
You're welcome. So this is basically now on here I have silicone mats because they're brilliant. You can literally just pick the paint of it, you know. Some people work on metal tables and things like that, but you need something that the wax is not going to stick on, like wood or something, because you will have to scrape it and it's terribly annoying. And you have better things to do with your life, really, you know. So silicone
Yes.
is your friend. Okay,
Yeah.
so I talked about the brushes, the hot plate. What are we going to work on today? So I tend to work on cradle boards. You know, this one is a deep edge cradle board. Now, the rule of thumb is that it has to be rigid, because if it was canvas, for example, that's one of the questions I get asked: can you work on canvas? Not with that type of encaustic painting, because it will crack if the canvas, you know, is a bit loose.
Yes.
It will definitely crack when it gets completely cold. So you need something that is rigid, and you need something which is porous. So ampersand, for example, does beautiful boards which are already primed with encaustic gesso, or you can actually buy those birch cradle boards and things like that. They're fantastic. And what I've done, because I prepared that in advance, I taped the edge, because you're gonna have a lot of drips. So I taped the edges, and also I prepared that board already in order to save time for showing you techniques. So how do you prepare the board? Under that, I would have a couple of layers of encaustic gesso. Now, some people ask me, can you use normal gesso? No, you can't, because encaustic painting is compatible with a lot of mixed media technique. Like in my work, for example, I would use inks, I would use oil paint, oil bars called pigment sticks, inlaying peppers, dried flowers, you name it. Okay, there's one thing that encaustic painting is not compatible with, is acrylic. Okay, because it's polymer.
Good to know.
Because I'm gonna work with heat, so you can't warm up, you know, it will burn. So there is actually a polymer or plastic into a gesso. So encaustic gesso is what you need. And then what I have done in order to prepare for this session is I applied 3 layers of just the encaustic medium. You know, the big pot with the big brush?
Yes.
I just applied 3 layers of that. And that's basically how you prepare your panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And how long would that take to cure, I guess, before you could start doing your painting over it?
Oh, you can start straight away, because, and
nice.
that's something we're going to talk about. And what I wanted to talk to you about today is like touch, and the way you use your brushes, and the weight of your hand, and also the way you fuse. Now, fusing, I'm going maybe a bit over something that I wanted to do later, but in between layers, okay, in between layers, in order, you know, for example, here I had applied 1 layer of encaustic medium. If I let this medium alone, or when it cools, see the way it cools straight away. Okay, it literally, as soon as you apply it, it just gets, it sets.
Okay.
You need to apply some heat onto this straight away. Okay, so this is a process in an encaustic which is called fusing. Okay, actually, fun fact: encaustic come from encaustikos, which is a Greek word which means to burn or apply heat. So in between each layer, you need to apply some heat. Okay. Sometimes gently, sometimes less gently, depends what you need to do. And this will bind the top layer to the under layer. Basically, that's what it's going to do, you know? And that's it. So, I mean, you can make a work today and hang it for a show tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Now, curing is a different situation. The work will take about 6 months or so to cure, you know, but it's ready to go, you know, and that's something else that really attracted me comparing to, I used to work with oil paints and I love the physicality of it, you know, layers and work with palette knives. And then I had to wait and wait and wait
Great. And then
because
wait some more.
yeah, I don't know if you work yourself with oil, but you know, it was like, oh, dry already.
Yes,
I've got a lot of students who come who actually are oil painters and they love the idea of applying layers and just straight away they can work on it straight or carve into it.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's what we're gonna work on. Oh yeah, the fusing. That's what I got distracted. The fusing can be done with a blowtorch.
Oh, fun.
So some people also use heat guns if they don't like naked flames. I don't have one here because I don't use it, but it does exactly the same. But I love blowtorch. I love the
I would
fire.
too.
Yeah. So these are the ones I have on my desk. So this one is like non-threatening creme brulee, blowtorch,
Mhm.
butane, used by housewives all over the world to make creme brulee.
Yes.
I've got about 30 creme blowtorch in my studio, and I actually never made a creme brulee in my life, but they're super user-friendly. Just click and you have a little flame. I don't know if you can see
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have a little scroller here for a smaller flame and a bigger flame. And here, this is for the canister. So it has beeswax at the bottom of it. There's beeswax everywhere. So this is a small one. And then you have a bigger one. This one is Watani. It's a big flame, and that is for large surfaces or for a technique that we call hard fusing when you want a lot of heat. But
Okay.
I think that if you're starting and get yourself a small creme brulee blowtorch, if you stay within small format, you know, they're about $12, maybe even less. Sorry, I'm speaking in dollars these days. But yeah, it's about, you know, so they're not expensive, and then you need a little canister to go with it.
And then you can make creme brulee too.
Well, no, anything that comes in the studio, you can't use it anymore in the kitchen. I
Okay.
swear, when I started, I had a raclette dish. You know those things, this French thing to melt cheese. I don't know if you know
Yes.
it.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so I had that in the kitchen. I was, oh, that's gonna be perfect until my hot plate arrived. So boom, that was smuggled into the studio, and then I had a crock pot, you know, those slow
Yeah.
cooker crock pot thingy. That was brilliant because it was really low heat. So I used that for my medium and blowtorch and everything. So anyway, sure, find a lot of stuff. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is basically how to use the weight of your hand and how to be very conscious of the weight of your hand when you are actually painting. I mean, any other form of painting as well. It's not only encaustic, and how important it is, you know. I was looking yesterday actually at one of Mastrius' talk with, oh, what was his name again? Michel Albala, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And I actually wrote it somewhere. I write on my wall various things. But I love writing on my wall, various quotes and things. And he mentioned something called tactile perspective. I don't know if you watched. It was a live, I think,
Yes.
on Thursday
Yeah.
last week, and tactile perspective. And it was basically how to use paint in order to suggest space. And I was, oh, this is amazing. This is exactly the word I was looking for, you know? So, and basically how you use your brush strokes and the weight of your hand in order to suggest perspective. And there is a technique in encaustic, which is called flat brush technique or dry brush technique. They're very similar, which basically is used in a way that you are suggesting leading lines, and you're bringing energy as well into the work. So I'm going to show you this now. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes.
And I use it extensively. Like literally, I don't even know how to paint the other way now. This is the only technique I use when I do I'm landscapes, mostly landscapes. Okay.
Okay.
So I am not really going to focus too much on color today, just to show you. Now hold on a sec. Can I have a view of the hot plate? Now I'm just going to have a little bit of indigo, which is a color that I really like. Okay. So your hot plate, the temperature of your hot plate is very important for this particular technique. You don't want your wax to be, now you remember I said you can't have it above 200 Fahrenheit.
Yes.
For this technique, I like maybe bring it down a little bit to 195 or something like that. So your wax is like acting like a resist. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
It's not as fluid. I'm going into details, but it's actually very important, because if your wax is too fluid here, what you want is to leave marks. Okay.
Okay.
And the way you hold it, now hold on a sec, I'm going to put that away because I'm going to drip everywhere. The way you hold it, usually people hold their brush that way, okay?
Yeah.
Here you're going to hold it this way, now a second, this way, with your finger on the top, and it's flat, completely flat.
Yeah.
So hold on a sec, I bring the board. So I'm just going to dip it in. Okay, and sometimes I let it hang on the side for about 20 seconds or so, just for it to go a little bit cooler. Okay, are you counting?
I am.
Oh, really? Every time I do that classes, people are like, oh no, we forget. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. So here, and you see the way there's still wax in there, so it's still leaving some marks. I'm gonna dip it again. Okay, and then just keep on going. Can you hear that scraping sound?
Yeah.
That's what you want. It's terribly annoying. And with your finger right on the top like this, it's holding, it's keeping that brush flat. Now it's something that is not natural for when you start. So you have to train that muscle memory. You have to train your hand. So here, what I'm doing is the scoop. So I'm loading a lot of, and I bring it here and I go lighter. And you see the way it's making like cream. So earlier I was really heavy, and here it's like cream, lashings of cream. Okay, just I'm gonna go in the sky a little bit. I'm gonna do an Irish sky. Nice and stormy.
Well, it does look like an Irish sky.
I certainly know how to do Irish skies. So you see, so you have very light, the scoop, as I call it, the scoop. So you're lashing, so it's very light, and then much more scrapey in some areas. And what it does, it will create texture. And the more you do it, the more texture you will have.
Beautiful.
And I'm only using one color here, okay? I haven't even used another color. I love this. So that looks like a... Now again, perspective-wise, you can, here I like having very thick. So I'm gonna do the scoop and a lot. I mean, I'm only using indigo right now. The scoop, and then when your brush is getting less loaded with paint, you can then bring it a bit here, to bring kind of an atmospheric perspective, but not a very dark line. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I already see a painting there, like the shore and the water and the horizon line and the distant.
Yeah, I haven't even added any colors yet. Just indigo. So I don't know if you can see how thick it is.
Oh, beautiful.
And that's the what I call the lashing, the scoop. I met another encaustic artist, and she was calling it as well. We were like, oh my god, we both have a different word for this. It's like scooping the paint, and then very lightly you're just spread it lightly, and it's again this the weight of your hand is very different. And see all of this because of the weight of the hand. It may gives different marks, and so it's very important, you know. I might just actually not even add, or actually, no, hold on a second. I wanted to add other colors because I wanted to show you something else.
Okay.
What else am I going to add? Actually, before I do so, do you remember I talked to you about fusing?
Yes.
We are going to do it now because
Bring out the blowtorch.
Yes, bring on the fire. Okay, so here, I mean, indigo is my favorite color. And here you see the way it's kind of a matte. You know, the color
Yes.
is kind of matty, kind of grainy, whitey. I don't know how to express that texture. Now, you need to fuse this because if you don't, when it's completely cool, it might just lift. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And crack. You don't want that, especially when you have like hundreds of layers or whatever, and then one layer hasn't been fused in between, the whole thing would crack, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if there's one thing you need to remember, you need to fuse. It's just a matter of getting into a habit, okay? So the way you are fusing also is extremely important. Again, the weight of your hand, okay? So fusing basically is not melting. Is not melting at all. And I think a lot of people make a mistake with this. They tend to completely overfuse. But here I don't want to. I don't want to melt this gorgeous ridge here. You know, I want to keep it intact. So that's why that little blowtorch is excellent and a very light touch. Okay. So I'm going to start in that corner here and I'm going to go across and just very systematically bring my what I call my blowtorch for a walk, you know, just across, and it's gonna go shiny, just shiny, very light fusing all the way down. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. It might be a bit noisy, so
Okay.
Okay, but this one is not too noisy. Can you see that?
Oh, you can see the shine coming out.
And can you see the color? I mean, there's only indigo here. I didn't even add anything else. See the way the texture of the actual medium changes?
Oh, yes.
It becomes shiny and the color becomes more intense as well. So that's if you're not sure if you fuse or not, because you know in the creative process, you know, sometimes you work fast or you're gonna go, oh, did I fuse? Well, just touching the work. You see the way it's already set. I can touch it straight away.
Mhm.
That quickly? Yeah. So
And
when
it'll
it's
maintain that shine after.
yeah,
Okay.
it's very smooth. So that's completely fused. And that's safe. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
that is normal fusing. So I'm gonna add more colors now, and then I'm gonna do what we call the hard fusing, which is different when you actually merge all the colors together.
Okay.
All right. So what do I have in there? What could I do? So hold on a sec. I've got a very translucent kind of blue, very translucent now. I'm gonna mix some colors. So basically, I've got my cake here, and what I do, I just rub it onto my palette straight
Oh,
away.
okay.
Yeah, that's how the medium straight away. That's how you create colors. Okay, straight on the palette. And I have brushes here on the side. And what you need to extend that with a bit of medium because it's very intense otherwise. Okay, so that's it. Can you see? Do you want me to move the camera? You okay?
I can see we can see the bit of the white.
Okay. So This is very Irish, right?
Oh, it is.
Moody.
I love it.
And you see the way you can also do this. Again, weight of the hand. So you're like tapping.
I just love how intuitive, like your painting there. You don't really seem like, I guess with encaustic, as opposed to maybe some other mediums, that has to be more intuitive because you have to move quickly and trust yourself.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I do work quickly. This is actually something that I share during my sessions. Is that for years I've been trying to trick my mind. You know, not to control to things too quickly. So I do work pretty fast myself, and I work on many works in the same time. It prevents me to overthink.
Yes.
You know, but a lot of other encaustic artists that I can think of right now work much slower than I do, much slower. Yeah, yeah. I think it's you know the way we work. We we have we develop certain tricks ourselves,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. But what else did I want to? Oh, so here I'm gonna go quickly. I'm gonna go straight into titanium white, but I never do it straight away. But just to show you, okay?
Okay.
I mean, the idea is not to actually finish a painting or anything like that. I just want to show you what a hard fusing would do when the colors merge together. A bit of medium. Okay. So again, I go again with the creating rocks.
Yeah.
Again, I press really, really hard. Okay, really hard. Okay, so I'm gonna fuse this. So first fuse I'm gonna go very light. Okay.
Okay.
Again, I don't want these brush stroke to disappear. So I'm just gonna go up and down. And if I see that it start moving, I just raise my elbow a little bit. So try to keep your elbow away from your body. So you're working with your body, not with your wrist. Okay. So that will be the soft fuse.
Okay.
Now, big blowtorch.
Excellent.
So I am going to do that area here. And what's gonna do, I'm gonna apply a lot of heat to this. So that's called a hard fusing, okay? So here, very light touch, very light, because you want to keep all the brush strokes, all the marks, you want to keep everything. Here, I'm just gonna experiment. I'm literally gonna melt all those colors together. Okay, and that's called a hard fusing. So that's big blowtorch, Iwatami, big blowtorch, a lot of heat. It's about an inch or so. Blue flame.
Okay. And about how far off of the painting are you?
Sorry?
How far off of the painting are you with
I am about an inch and a half to inch above.
Okay. Oh, you can see it moving and the edges softening out.
Yeah, it's still now. That's why I put titanium white and seaweed as a high contrast so you can see better. But what it did, it merged all those colors together here to create some kind of a wave.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's basically a lot of it. Now here I am going to let it cool a little bit because here it got really, really hot. When you put your hands above that, I mean, this is completely set. Okay, so you see it sets very, very quickly, even though when you use hot fusing. But if I start carving this, I will go straight down to base. Okay, so I don't want that. So this is the other things I wanted to show you, which I use extensively in my work. 1 second, I'm gonna add another layer somewhere else. No, I stay within that monochromatic vibe, so I don't think about too much. I might just add some things here. Okay, just for the demo. Okay, so every time you add something, just fuse it. You don't have to fuse the whole thing. You see the way I did some here and some here? Just gonna fuse those two parts because the rest is fused. I'm going back with my little blowtorch because I want a very light touch. And once it's shiny, it's fused. Yeah?
Beautiful.
Okay, so we talked about the blowtorch and the weight of your hand when you are using the blowtorch. Now what I'm going to talk about is various, these were additive techniques where you add layers of paints, okay? Now, something else that I use a lot in my work is subtractive technique. That means I am going back in those layers and I'm scraping and I'm carving and all that fun stuff. Okay, so these are a few tools that I need. So I'm going to put this guy on the side. These are my 4 amigos, as I call them. I mean, I've got boxes and boxes of stuff around my studio, but these are the 4 that don't go near them. They are mine.
Okay, no touch.
So, potter's loop. I absolutely love the potter's loop. Okay, so you have a rounded edge one, like this guy. Okay, rounded. Everything is covered in medium, as you can see. And then I also have a straight edge one. Okay, so both of these are great. I have a little stylus, or I think call it a needle tool.
Okay, yeah.
On the other side of the pond. So a little needle tool. Yeah. You know what? I also have dentistry tools. They're great for that.
Oh, they would work good, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. And then I also have a little wood carving tools. 1 sec, I'm just gonna put it in the camera. Wood carving. So I've got a few wood carving sets lying around the studio, but this one is my favorite one. Have you seen the state of it? It's completely used and abused. My favorite tool. And this one's got a little slanted edge. That's it, slanted edge like that. And I love this one. I'm going to show you how I use them. Okay.
Excellent.
So these are the 4. But anything that would do a mark, like I have wire brushes. You can print stuff as well in it. You know, like Ashen, for example. You can like embed it into the work, then lift it. It will leave marks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, how long do you have?
I could stay here all day.
No, that's okay. Okay, I'm only gonna focus on these scraping and gouging and etching. Okay?
Okay.
So it's better to do this when the work is actually cooler. So when I do these techniques, usually I put the work on the side for a couple of hours. I work on something else, mostly because, especially when you use the hot fusing like here, when I touch it, it's still very hot. Okay, as here it's not, because remember, I only use a little bit of heat on that. So that is completely cool to the touch, and that is hot. And when it's still hot, now you can actually make it work to your advantage by really gouging tracks, you know, into it. And I do that. Actually, I have a work here which is finished, not finished, but you see here this deep gouge.
Oh, yes, yes.
Very deep gouge. So these were done when the wax was still the medium, sorry, was still warm. So I was literally like carving it very easily. But usually I prefer actually carving when the wax is cooler. I call it the sweet spot, when she's not completely cold and not warm. So it's that sweet spot, and you know it when you hit it. You know it when you
Yes.
hit it. Okay. So this guy had a potter's loop. I mean, usually I've got a little bit more layers than that, but it's just to leave marks, for example, here. So you're revealing what's behind. Sorry for the
Yeah.
sound. And you need to clean it as you go along as well. Or here, for example, if you want to go back to that indigo, you can do that. Okay, so that is the potter's loop. Now, you also have this. So this one is carving. Again, weight of your hand is important. You can do, because the wax is still a little bit warm, you can do deep ridges. So here I'm really going for it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I know there's a lot of layers under that. So clean it as you go along. So you can really press down. So don't know if you can see.
Oh, you can, yes.
Yeah, so that's big deep ridges. Or you can go lightly. So for example, if you want to bring leading lines into the work. So here I know behind that there's indigo, so I can reveal that back. So turning the work around is always a good thing. Never look at it in the same angle. Yeah, so right. Now, and that's still a bit hot, so I should stay away from that. Because you remember that white was still sitting on the top of the indigo, so I can shape that wave as well. So going lightly enough here, very light touch. Not like here, very light, because it's very warm. It's very warm. Hey, do you have any questions? You okay? Because I could happily keep going like that for ages. So
Yeah, I mean, it's mesmerizing. I have to, it's definitely a medium that I want to try now. And again, prior to talking to you, I honestly, if someone had asked me to explain encaustic painting, I knew it was wax based, but that's pretty much all. So this has been a great video.
yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's the way it's still such a niche. So yeah, I'm gonna stop now because this is my favorite activity.
Yes.
I do my application. I know, right? I like
You
applying
could
all
just
my
keep going.
layers in the morning.
Yeah.
Do what?
You could just keep going all day.
In the morning, I apply all my layers. So do you remember the additive? So I apply a lot of layers. That's my morning, how do you call this, a routine. And then I have lunch, something, or walk the dog, or disappear for a while, and then come back, and then all my layers are still are nice. You remember that sweet spot I was telling you about? So when all the layers are nice and cool, but not too cold, then I spend the afternoon just scraping, scratching, and just literally just do that for hours, listening to a podcast. This way my mind is engaged, listening to the spoken word. So my mind is listening to my favorite podcast. When my body is busy, just going around all the paintings, with my little scrapers. And I literally lose time every single day for 3 hours every afternoon.
I do the same thing with the audiobooks.
Do you?
It's amazing,
love isn't
audiobooks
it?
while I paint. Yeah.
It's brilliant because your mind, and I remember I was talking about this with one of my students, the mind is engaged listening to something. So your body, I'm a fervent advocate of the body, and we should work a body more and listen to her, because that's her for me. Listen to her more and let her do her thing because she knows.
She does. Excellent. Well, Isabelle, I've learned a lot today. Again, I'm gonna have to go buy some encaustic supplies and start watching some more videos. And yes, you may have a convert on your hands, and who knows, you may see me in one of your Mastrius groups one of these days. So I do have one quick question. I have a quick question for you before I let you go. So is there one piece of advice or encouragement that you would give an artist that you wish you had heard when you were starting out?
Oh, one piece of advice. I've got a lot, but there's one that sticks more than the others. I think that when I started years ago, I kept comparing myself a lot to people, you know, and that really affected me as a person and as an artist, constantly comparing myself with others and thinking that the grass was greener on the other side, you know, that type of things.
Oh yes,
And
constantly.
I mean, I'm a fervent advocate of Dr. Seuss. For me, Dr. Seuss is wiser, or not, is as wise as the Dalai Lama, okay? And I have this quote, which is actually written on my wall. Remember, I told you that's like my wall is literally like quotes, full of quotes.
Yeah.
And there's a quote which says, there is no one alive who is youer than you. Okay?
Oh, I love it.
Repeat that 10 times, because when I stopped compare myself to others, when I stopped comparing my work to others, when I stopped trying to emulate what other people were doing and really be me, you know, with all of its flaws, all of it, everything, the whole package, I really started to grow. I really started thinking, you know, I mean, the other, you know, we always bother about the way people are they going to accept me and all that stuff. Well, you know, there's no one alive with youer than you, and you know that there's one you in this world, and you have your space, and you are unique, and that's it. That's what, carve your own path. That's it.
Oh, that's amazing.
For me, anyway.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thanks everyone for watching. If you'd like to learn more about Mastrius, check us out at mastrius.com. Everything we do is live, interactive, and online. So you can get your questions answered in real time and learn exactly what you need to reach your goals, whatever they are. I'm a member at Mastrius and I'm absolutely loving it because I'm learning and growing my skills fast. And the community is extremely supportive and welcoming. I hope you'll join us. Find out more at mastrius.com.